I actually started on accident. I worked retail when I was 18 and wanted a weekend, so I applied for a reception job at a unnamed company, which happened to be At Large Films, and spent 3 months just being a receptionist, which was horrible, and then got promoted to be the producer's assistant and did that for 2.5 years, and then I've been coordinating ever since. So it was not something I wouldn't have told you I wanted to work in film when I was younger. I never would have thought about it. It just kind of happened. So, and I like my job, kind of. I don't like working with him, but otherwise, I like my job.
No one has a clue what the production coordinator does, but
I don't do anything. I tell my interns to
That's
do
not
stuff
true.
for me. If you have good interns, you don't have to do your job. I basically, Devin and I, we run the office that's on set, so we get to work out of the back of a U-Haul. And basically, you know, he works to assist
Wait,
Jay,
really?
but
You guys don't have a motorhome? You work out of it for
we
U-Haul?
legitimately work out of a 14-foot
Yeah.
U-Haul.
So that's unusual.
Yeah.
Typically, production
Yes.
coordinators at least sit in a motorhome.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, it functions as our production cube. So we have 20 tables in there and 60 chairs. So that's, you know, whatever we have for setting up lunch is in there. Plus we have a printer and office supplies and all these other things. And then there's just a table like this where me and Devin and one other person sit. Yeah. So it's cozy. It's a very cozy environment. But basically, you know, I work to assist Kevin. Kevin's going to be in the office, so there's going to be things that he coordinates what's happening with our guest stars, but eventually, you know, they have to land, and Devin has to deal with them having paperwork. So I sort of serve as the person that he can keep in contact with about what's happening on set. But on a typical show, I'd be a little bit more involved with budgeting and actualizing a budget and making sure that we're kind of on track. On this show, Kevin does that, so I get to kind of be excused from that. But it's a lot of, you know, distributing information. I send out scripts, I send out the call sheet. I have 8 different distribution lists because everybody gets something different. So it's a lot of, you know, paying attention to what needs to go where and when, and ordering equipment for people, making sure that we've hired crew for the day, making sure that making sure that we get hairless cats. And I had an assistant on the show, and he happens to be a fantastic, amazing worker, and he's really good at researching. So I do get away with not doing as much because of wonderful Richard. But there's a lot of, Devin has to deal with all of the actors and guest stars and their paperwork, which is, you know, kind of a tedious thing of making people sign things over and over again. So I have to collect all of that stuff and get it ready and send it. We make a football at the end of every day. It's called that because we get to pass it back and forth. Very cute. It basically has, you know, call sheet, production report, any paperwork that's been done. So when we have an extras coordinator, he's going to get all the paperwork from our extras. He's going to get everything from our actors, and all this information has to be compiled. So it's a lot of just making sure that everything is there and that I have everything ready and that I'm turning it in. I'm rarely that focused on a sketch. It's kind of, you know, how Kevin is looking ahead. When he does that, he comes up with his list of things that he needs me to do, and then I have to do them. I'm a doer. And Devin and I have a strange situation. As he pointed out, you know, we wouldn't commonly be working as close as we did, but it was me and him and one other person inside of the cube, and it's, you know, most of what, we're the people that are kind of stuck at our computers, so we are constantly having to research and do things there, so we are just together all the time. And it's, you know, I think that normally when you work with people, it's uncommon that you're going to like everybody that you work with. And then to have a crew of 60 people where everybody gets along is absurd. And we have that on Portlandia. And for me and Devin and Richard to spend, I mean, literally 16 hours a day, and we would film 6-day weeks. And it was crazy. It's a lot of time. We lived together for 4 months is basically what happened. And, you know, fortunately we do really like each other and we really get along, and an amazing friendship was formed there, and Richard is a huge part of that for us, but it's still like, it's not that common of a situation. So it's, for us, it turned into something totally different of like us just being able to actually be working with your friend all day is a pretty cool thing to have happen. So everybody else on the set, like there's definitely little, like, you know, groups of people that work together a fair amount and are there together a fair amount, and our interns, you know, spent a lot of time working with us and doing things, but we had a very specific situation happen. So it's kind of awesome, and probably something that doesn't happen for a lot of other people's sets.